Hey friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and I'm so excited that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me because today we are getting into some sapphic book recommendations, right? Like, I feel like it wouldn't be right for me to not have any sapphic book recommendations on my channel. Like, that just feels wrong, right? Right. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, all of these books I have read and would recommend. There will be a part 2 to this eventually. I feel like I had a lot of books and I didn't want to make this video like incredibly long, but I wanted it to be kind of like an ongoing situation, and I'll just make them periodically when I feel like I have enough, because I'm not, this video in particular is not me just telling you about all the sapphic books that I know of, or even just all the ones that I have read. These are the ones that I have read and would actually recommend, meaning that I rated them 3 stars or higher. Most of these, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2, have all been 4 stars or higher for me. So I'm giving you the good stuff in this video. And this will also not include the ones that are on my TBR or on my radar right now. Now, if you want that video, let me know in the comments and I will make a separate sapphic book TBR, because we have to differentiate between the two, because some of the books on my TBR I might not even like. So there's no way I'm going to recommend you books that I haven't read yet. That's just not my thing. So anyway, we had a lot of books to talk about. You know, I like to talk. So let's just jump right on into it. So first up, we have a very recent read, and that is This Ravenous Fate by Haley Dennings. And this is a YA fantasy book that features a sapphic romance. There are vampires in this book, although in this world they're called reapers. But in this, we follow Elise Saint and Layla Quinn, who is a reaper. They used to be best friends, but Elise and her family had something to do with Layla not only becoming a reaper, but also losing both of her parents. So, you know, they're enemies at this point. But something really big happens and it forces them to work together for a common cause. And you know what happens once they start working together. Now, I will say, I have a hair up here that's like flitting around and like, no. Anyway, what I will say is that the romance in this one is kind of on the back burner. It's not like the main plot, but there are some very cute moments in this. So yes, it's set in the 1920s in Harlem, and you need to pick this one up. Oh God, it's already started. I'm gonna say that every time. I'm gonna try to fight it, but it's gonna come out anyway. I think I'm going to get all of my YA books out of the way first, just so that's done and we can move into the more adult stuff. I have a series to talk about next, and that is This Poisonous Heart, and that's by Kaylin Bayron, and this is a YA fantasy as well. And in this, we follow Bree, who has a gift. She can like grow plants with just a touch. She has an affinity for plants. They just always want to be around her, type of situation. And her aunt dies, and she finds out about this family that she never really knew anything about because she was adopted. Her aunt leaves her a house, and her parents hope that going to this house and visiting this area, they will find some things to help Bree control her gift, because it's getting a little out of control and it's getting harder for Bree to, you know, be around people and have friends, because she got plants like literally reaching and grabbing for her. So, you know, you can't really hide that. So yes, they move out into this house, and at this house, there are a set of instructions given to Bree, and also this really creepy walled garden. Okay. And with this brings a lot of things that Bree wasn't expecting, and she finds out that her family was very special. I'm gonna leave it at that. So what I'm gonna say about this is that this book is full of sapphic relationships, from Bree's moms to even Bree herself, right? I'm gonna leave it at that. And then we also have, this is a duology. So the sequel to that book is This Wicked Fate. And can we talk about these covers? First of all, these covers are everything. They are so freaking beautiful. But anyway, yes, this is the second book. They're not too long. And these also kind of have like a hint or a background of like Greek mythology. I think that's what it is. And so, yeah, I think it's been called like I think The Secret Garden has also been like a tag for this book as or a comp, a better word for this book as well. So yeah, lots of things going on. Super cute. Loved this series, and it's definitely one that I think you should check out if you're looking for a YA sapphic vibe. So for the rest of this video, we will be talking about adult books. Okay, so let's talk about The Bookshop and the Barbarian by Morgan Stang. And quick disclaimer, if I am looking down, it is because I'm looking at the synopsis on my computer because I don't want to be mixing up synopses. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So in The Bookshop and the Barbarian, we're following Marabella Waters, who leaves her homeland and becomes the owner of the Cozy Quill, which is a bookshop. So when she gets there, she finds these squatters who won't leave, and so she hires a barbarian warrior woman type situation whose name is Asteria. And you know, they work together to make this bookshop a success. All right, but there's a local evil woman, as there always is, and she's threatening to kick Marabella and Asteria off the land, saying that she technically owns the land that the Cozy Quill is on, even though Marabella owns the Cozy Quill. Yeah. But anyway, this is super cute, and it's actually more of like a cozy mystery, comedy, romance type situation. It's a very fallish and winterish type book. And in this is this found family, and you have this sapphic relationship between Marabella and Asteria. And it was just really cute. But the best thing about this for me was that it broke the fourth wall consistently. Like the narrator was always like talking to you, the reader, and like quizzing you on what you have read and like making sure you're paying attention, but also like poking fun at you at the same time. I had the best time reading this, and it was actually really short. I think it's under 300 pages. Maybe I could be making that up. I don't know. But yeah, this is really good and a fun time. And you know, I am a cozy fantasy type girl, so you know, that's what I do. And one that happens to be very similar to that is Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne. And this has been making the rounds, so it's probably something that you've heard of, but it's also a cozy fantasy where we follow Raina and Keonth. Raina is a guard to the queen, and Keonth is one of the most powerful mages in the land, and they decide to run away together and start a bookshop slash tea shop. And yeah, we just follow them setting this up, and they go to this small town and kind of build relationships and other found family type situations. The stakes really aren't high in this, even though there are moments where it feels like the stakes might be high. Just know it's a cozy fantasy, so like, are there really stakes ever in cozy fantasy? But yeah, this was fun. I think Raina and Keon's relationship was really cute. Yeah, very chill, very cozy, a good time. Yeah. And then staying in the fantasy realm, I'm going to recommend one of my favorite reads of 2024. Like, when I read this, I fell in love with it, and that is The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. So this is like a historical, cozy fantasy romance type situation. And in here we follow Marigold, who doesn't want to do the usual things that women did in this time, like Regency era. So she doesn't want to like be out in the season and try to find a husband and all of that stuff that she's supposed to do. She doesn't want that. And so she finds out that her grandmother is the Honey Witch. Her grandmother offers to train her to be the next Honey Witch because she's getting older, and of course, she's going to need to pass it down to someone. And so she offers to pass that down to Marigold. And of course, Marigold jumps at the opportunity and feels like this is what she's looking for and that is perfect for her. And the only thing about it is that there's a price for the honey witch. So the honey witch is cursed and can never fall in love. No, no one can fall in love with the honey witch. There we go. So even with that, Marigold is like, I don't care. This feels like what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. So she goes to an island with her grandmother to train to be the honey witch. And while she's there, she meets this woman named Lottie. And Lottie doesn't believe in magic. And Marigold is determined to make Lottie believe in magic. And along the way, some feelings happen too. But yeah, this was really cute. I had a great time. The vibes are vibey for sure. I think this is more of like a spring summer read, I think, in my opinion, but it's very cute, it's very fun, it's very spicy, and I had a good time. So next I have a novella that I want to talk about, and that is A Wolf Steps in Blood by Tamara Jure. In this we follow Yasmin, who is a wolf shifter, but she does not feel a connection to her wolf. She even thinks of it as a separate entity outside of herself. And one day she runs into Kalta. Is that her name? Ooh, look at me in character names. So she runs into Kalta, who is a blood witch, and they just have this instant, undeniable attraction to each other. And they end up going on this journey to try to help the wolves because they are slowly dying off. So, about a century ago, the witches enchanted the wolves in order for them to not go into extinction because they were being killed off by humans, but that magic is fading and the wolves can feel it. And so Yasmin and Kalta feel like they're the ones who are supposed to fix this as a wolf and a witch, and so they set off on this journey to be able to do that, and that's what we follow. And it is really cute, and I think this packs a punch for sure. I think that Yasmin and Coulter's relationship was really sweet, and that they deserve to have someone who cares about them as a person and shows them the value within themselves. And I think that happens with Yasmin and Coulter, and it was just really cute, really sweet, really spicy. I was shocked. I was like, okay, I wasn't ready, but I got ready. And so yeah, this is really cute. Loved this little short novella, and I think you should check it out. And then our last fantasy should be no shock to anyone, because I've told y'all, and y'all should know by now, that I am going to recommend this book every chance I get. It's going to be in every recommendation video that I can make it fit in. And that's just what it is. And that is Faybound by Sarah El Arifi. Y'all, the way I love this book, right? So in this, we are following Erin, and Erin. She is like a general in the army or a commander or something like that. And she makes a bad call one day and gets exiled from the Elven lands. And her sister Little is like, I'm not letting her go by herself. Like, I'm gonna have to go with her. I'm gonna have to go get her. And whatever her fate is, I'm just gonna have to meet it too. Well, Little and Erin stumble upon the Fey land. So they're realizing that everything that they've been told has been a lie, and they are essentially prisoners in this Feyland. And while they're there, Erin finds a friend, if you will. Like, she finds a friend. So they are kind of discovering what this Feyland is about, and also relearning history. And yeah, there are a couple of sapphic relationships in this book, and a very interesting scene, if you will. We'll leave it at that. But I love this book so much, and yeah, I think this is great. So go ahead and pick this up. So I have this one book that doesn't exactly fit into any other category. It's a sci-fi, so I'm gonna say it now, and that is The Memory Librarian by Janelle Monáe. And this is an anthology of short stories. So these are Afrofuturistic stories where we explore queerness, race, gender plurality, and love, and it's tangled with future possibilities of memory and time in a totalitarian landscape, and what it might cost to unravel and weave these threads into freedoms. And this was actually really fun because I am not really a big sci-fi girly, but I love Janelle Monáe, so I was like, I'm gonna check it out. And these stories were very much what that little blurb that I just read you said. It was an exploration of all the things, and I thought they were really interesting and really cool. Like, yeah, I had a good time with this, and I think more people should pick it up. I know sometimes, celebrity written things come with a stigma, but these are really good short stories, and I think more people should pick this up. Alrighty, and now we are going to wrap it up with the romances. And first, I'm going to talk about The Fiancé Farce by Alexandria Bellefleur. Okay, I'm just gonna read this. Okay, Tansy's greatest love was her family's bookstore passed down from her late father, but when it comes to actual romance, she can't get past the first chapter. Tired of her stepfamily's questions about her love life, Tansy invents Gemma, a fake girlfriend inspired by the stunning cover model on a best-selling book. They'll never actually meet, so what's the harm in a little fib? Yet, when real-life Gemma crosses Tansy's path, her white lie nearly implodes. And Gemma is a wild child, the outcast of her wealthy family, and not the latest heir to Van Dalen Publishing. But the title comes with one tiny condition: she must be married in order to inherit. When Gemma discovers a beautiful stranger has been pretending to date her for months, she decides to take that charade one step further and announces their engagement. So, y'all know I love a fake dating. I love a fake dating. And I am also I'm coming to love Alexandria Bellefleur. I've read Written in the Stars. That's also a sapphic romance, but I didn't include it in this video because I think The Fiancé Farce is better. I've read a couple of books by Alexandria Bellefleur, and she's getting up there, and I thought this was a fun time. My favorite thing about this sapphic romance was that there was no miscommunication, third act breakup, and anything that came up against them was outside forces and outside people. They weren't struggling with their relationship with each other, and I love that. Yes, period. It was so good. I had a great time with this. And yes, the next book I'm going to talk about is Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane, and this was one of my favorite books the year that I read it, and that's just a lot for a holiday romance, because usually I'm just reading those for the vibes, and it's hard for me to give a holiday romance a 5-star, but this one 8. And it was one of my favorite books of 2022 when it came out. 1 year ago, recent Portland transplant Ellie Oliver had her dream job in animation and a Christmas Eve bookstore meet cute with a woman she fell in love with over the course of a single night. But after a betrayal the next morning and the loss of her job soon after, she finds herself adrift, alone, and desperate for money. Since finding work at a local coffee shop, she's just getting through the days until Andrew, the shop's landlord, proposes a shocking, drunken plan. A marriage of convenience that will give him his recent inheritance and alleviate Ellie's financial woes and isolation. They decide to spend the holidays together at his family cabin to keep up the ruse. But when Andrew introduces his new fiancée to his sister, Ellie is shocked to discover that his sister is Jack, the mysterious woman she fell for last Christmas Eve. Now, over one very festive week, Ellie must choose between the safety of a fake relationship and the risk of something real. And when I tell you this was as messy as it sounded, it was. Because imagine you are fake dating somebody and you walk in and see the person that you actually fell in love with, but y'all broke up in a bad way. What? Loved it. It was so good. So yeah, this was super cute, super fun, had a great time, and loved the sapphic romance in this. Next, I have Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers, and this is a little more on the literary side, but sometimes I feel like we need that. We need a little life with the love. So in this, we are following Grace, who has just completed her PhD in astronomy, and she goes on a girls trip to Vegas to celebrate. She wakes up, she has a ring on her finger, and she is married to Yuki. That's her name. So she wakes up married to Yuki, and she's like, what the heck? And Grace is very type A, very structured, very high achieving. You know the type. I'm the type. You might even be the type, but you know the type if you're not the type. And so this is like rocking her world. She is stressed, impressed. Like, why would I do that? Who is this Yuki and how does she get me to marry her? Like, this is wild. And also, on the other part of that, she is dealing with her parents' expectations, a struggling job market, and feelings of burnout. So she escapes to New York with Yuki, where she is able to ignore constant questions about her future, and she ends up falling in love with her wife. I think that this is a good story of like, dealing how do you deal with life when it doesn't work out the way that you thought it would, and when you like had like unexpectedly have someone like thrown into your life like this. And I don't know, it was just really emotional, really heavy on the life. And the relationship was great because it helped her figure out who she was and what she wanted out of life. And I just had a good time. I wasn't When I first bought this, I thought it was a cutie romance. And when we got in there and we was deep in there and we was dealing with Grace's feelings and like, yeah, it got a little real, and I was like, oh, okay. Why, why do I feel like I want to cry? Like, but also can't relate. So, yes, this is why I'm recommending this because it's not just a romance. I feel like it's a life lesson in this as well that you could pick up on. And I am going to end this out on my girl. She's 2 for 2. She's 2 for 2, and I'm looking for a third. I'm ready for a third. I want more. And that is Chinsia C. Higgins. And the first book I have is Devon and Chris Plan a Wedding. And the way I ate this up, the way I love Devon and Chris, the way I want to be the third in Devon and Chris's relationship. Like, just squeeze me in the middle. Instant I Do could be Chris's big break. She's right on the cusp of making it as an influencer, so a stint on a reality TV show is the perfect way to elevate her brand. And $100,000 wouldn't hurt either. Devon is just trying to break out of her shell. She's sort of neglected to come out to her mom for years, so a big splashy fake wedding is just the excuse she needs. All they have to do is convince their friends and family they're getting married in 6 weeks. If anyone guesses they're not for real, they're out. Selling their chemistry on camera is surprisingly easy, and it's still there when no one else is watching, which is an unexpected bonus. Winning this competition is going to be a piece of cake. But each week of the competition brings new challenges, and soon the prize money is not the only thing at stake. A reality show isn't the best place to create a solid foundation, and their fake wedding might just derail their relationship before it even starts. And when I tell y'all, this is so good. This is so good. The chemistry between Devon and Chris leaps off the page. The spicy scenes leap off the page. The way I just look. And then also, this is another book where the conflict isn't like miscommunication within the couple or a third act breakup that don't make sense. Like, this is outside stuff again. And y'all, look, this is emotional because there's also Devon coming out to her mother and dealing with that on top of being on a reality show and like trying to basically fake this relationship and make it seem real. Like, there's a lot going on in this book and I loved every second of it. I just, if you take any recommendation, let it be this one. And then Chinsia's 2024 release, A Little Kissing Between Friends. This ate for me, y'all. I loved this one too. Now look, okay. Just listen to this. Music producer on the rise, Sin the Star knows what she likes, from her sickening beats in the studio to the flirty femmes she fools around with. Her ever-rotating roster has never been a problem until her latest fling crashes with Juicy, her best friend and the most popular dancer at a strip club. It makes Sin see Juicy in another light, one with far fewer boundaries and a lot more kissing. Julissa Jones makes great money dancing the early shift and spends most evenings with her son, her Sanity family, or at Sin's house. Relationships are not high on the priority list until she's forced to admit that maybe friendship isn't the only thing she wants from her bestie. But hooking up with your ride or die is risky. Juicy isn't just Sin's best friend, Juicy is her muse. When Sin lays down her tracks, it's Juicy she imagines in the club, throwing it back to every note. If they aren't careful, they could crash and burn. But isn't real love worth it? And it's the representation for me. We have a stud and we have a thick black girl. Like, we love it. Like, look at them. We need this representation for real. And this was so great. There was a lot of family interactions in this, a lot of spice in this. But also, Sin has some biphobia in her, and Juicy is bi. And look, we need to talk about this in our community as well. Like, y'all need to get the biphobia up out of here. So, maybe some of y'all need to read that to deal with that, to help y'all deal with that. No shade, no tea. Actually, all shade, all tea. But anyway, this is so fun. This was so great. I loved every second of it. I was skeptical going in because I hadn't read anything like this before, but this ate. Just simple as that. This ate. And I had a great time. So, and that, my friends, is part one, I guess you could call it, of my sapphic book Rex. If you have any books that you think I need to put on my radar, drop them in the comments. If you want me to do a sapphic books TBR, let me know so I can just tell you about all the stuff that I am trying to get to at some point. And if you want a part two, let me know. Just let me know all the things in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. And I hope that you have the best day that you possibly can. And guess what? I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.